Let's do that. Can I do that? Is that a dick thing?
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Celso Battaglia. I'll be teaching this astronomy course online. Fall 2016. I welcome you all. I have Angelica Higgins, Brandon Lynn, Kaysen Walsh, Chris, and Mitch. MP Pro, Michelle Dawes, Partridge, Sarah, and Sigmin and Victor. Those are the students I have. I'm taping this chat and I'm putting um, in our course canvas. So behave yourself, and so let's go through. I hope to be able to cover most of the topics in less than 30 minutes. So you should be done in by 7:30. Before I start, do you have any pressing question you want to ask? If you do, you have to click your microphone and you don't need to show your face, but I need to hear you. No? Okay. All right. So let me start by sharing my screen. Okay. So you should be able to see the evergreen screen. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So to find a course, you can go directly to it, or you can go through our college webpage, and you'll find a Canvas in there, and then you have instruction to log in the course, or you can go straight to this webpage. And then you should be located on your dashboard. And luckily, you should be able to see your class in case you're already enrolled. You should be able to see it. Once you click, that's what you see. And let me just place myself as a student. There you go. So then I'm looking at my screen as probably would be seeing without any extra stuff. So basically, this is my opening page. The course is divided in modules, and basically each module is one chapter book, and each chapter book in general is divided in every single week of class. So chapter one, we should be done next week, and chapter two, which is interesting chapter, I kind of keep it over 2 weeks. You can see that from September 4, September 18, and so on, so on, so on. So if you are somebody who will establish one weekday to do the coursework, and if you know which week that is, you can go straight to the module of that particular week, and you have everything available there for you to work. And this is through all the way to the end of semester, December 4/11. So the first thing is I would like all of you to know what's going on in the course, and that's why we have mandatory orientation. And the way I know that you understand where all the assessments are in the course is is by first attending this orientation. You can either be there like you are, or you can watch this taped chat any other time, but you have to start working in the course. And how do I know you're working in the course? Well, every time you work, grades will pop up. And eventually, by 2 weeks of class and way before census day, I will know if you are interested in be in a course or not. So if by 2 weeks from now I don't see any grades, so you haven't done any work, you haven't gone to any assessment in the course, my understanding is you are not interested, and then I'm gonna just drop you off the course. Okay, but so the first thing is orientation. The first block, I just post interesting links, and I have my test book with the ebook, which is the one I recommend. So the book we are using is Understanding Our Universe, is the second edition. You can buy a first edition. You can probably use any other books, more complicated because you have to make sure in your book to find the material that I'm covering on that particular week. And and pretty much that's it. That's only the only required material that I have is the test book. Does anybody have any question regarding textbook?
I have a question regarding textbook. I have one again for the orientation.
Yes.
Saying that we need to attend this meeting that we're having online as well as the one on campus, or the link that you're talking about?
The one on campus, you don't need to go. I mean, unless you need to to talk to me or
yeah, no. I was just trying to get clarification.
No.
So we go to the link, and that pretty much initiates us starting working in the course, correct?
Exactly. So my understanding is the Canvas or the IT people will not open all the assessments as of now. I mean, you can see them, but you can't see the questions. I think the questions will be populated on Monday. So
Okay.
Right now you can navigate, you can play around, but you won't see the questions.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you don't need to go to campus. Syllabus. So I already sent syllabus to all of you or to most of you, but I have a copy of it here if you need it. So you click on it and you can either download or you can wait, and it's going to populate your course. And it's right there. So basically, what are the assessments in the course? So 80% of your grade will come from midterms and final exam. So let's start with the midterms. So there will be three midterms, and they are done online. So you guys are lucky because in spring next year, I will start having these midterms face to face. So, but as of now, I'm using the old ruling, and that is the three midterms are online. There is also a final exam, but the final exam is face to face, and I will talk about final exam in a little bit. So each midterm is 20% of your course grade, so altogether 60% of your course grade, and they are done. Oops. What is it? There you go. So they are scheduled. Where is it? No, oh, there you go. They are scheduled on that week of October 3 to 10. Is always on a Thursday. So you have a whole day to access the exam. So the exam is going to be there waiting for you for the whole Thursday, beginning midnight Wednesday. But it's closed on midnight Thursday of that week. And you have 1 hour to complete. So you cannot open and then go out for a coffee or chat with somebody or check your email or so So if you come back 2 hours later, the exam is closed. So make sure once you start, you're not going to be interrupted. And then it's an open book, but you cannot find answers in Wikipedia because they are most of the questions are critical thinking questions. So you need to know this subject basically. So exam 1 is going to be in October, in that week of October 3 to 10 on a Thursday. Exam 2 is also in October, the last week, the last Thursday. And you have an exam 3 on that week of November 21 and 28. Okay. Again, these exams I open again a couple of days later. And then you have a chance of doing again in case you get trapped in traffic or you're traveling or get sick and need to go to the hospital for some reason. And because always happen, I always have students who can't do the exam for some reason, so I allow a second chance on that. I also have a makeup exam. So this makeup exam is on the week before the final week. So it's going to be here between November 28th and December 5th. And this makeup exam is comprehensive, covers everything. And what I do, I take the grade of this makeup exam and I replace the lowest score in any of the 3 previous midterms. So, is another chance of getting your grades up. And so after that, we have our final exam. The room is LE 232, 11 a.m. and it's face to face. You have to be there with a valid identification, and I give you a paper exam, and then you sit down, fill up the bubbles of a Scantron AA2E, and shake my hand. Course is over. So final exam is 20% of your course grade, along with the midterms. This is 80% of your course grade. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
For each midterm, will you be providing a study guide for us to use?
In fact, no. I mean, the study guide, the best study guide I have, let me show you this. The best study guide I have is the study guide that I recommend for the final exam. And let me see what it is. Let's see if I put it here. Go to modules. And then in the first block, I have a link called Tips About Final Exam. Tips About Final Exam. Again, you go to modules, the first module, Tips About Final Exam. You click on it. And then I have a link to the book. It's the first edition. It is interesting, they didn't allow, or they didn't open the same web page for the second edition, but they have available for the first edition. So you go to any of the chapters, for instance, chapter 6 about terrestrial worlds, and you have a link to quiz. See that? And then you start that, and then you can practice. You can pull up 25 questions or not. So what I'm saying is, for the midterms, the one done online, the questions will not be those questions, right? But you can use these as a guide to see if you are okay, if you are, understanding, if you are doing fine. Now, for the final exam, I will take these questions. I would take exactly these questions. I would I change a little bit the multiple choice, make small changes in the questions. Some of these questions I don't like, so I'm not going to include them. But my final exam, if you are studying this study guide, your final exam, which will be face-to-face with me in the classroom, and I give you a paper exam. So I will take the questions from this web page. Any question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you said for the midterms that most are critical thinking questions. They're not from the book?
They are from the book, but critical thinking questions are questions that, for instance, you learn everything about the moon's phase, right? And then I might give you a picture of a moon in a particular phase, and I give you options. At what time does this moon rise? So you don't have the answer in the book. You don't have the answer in Wikipedia. You can Google, you can't find it, right? And besides, you're going to be wasting time. So you have to know phases, moon phases, in order to answer this question. That's what I mean by critical thinking. So you have to know the subject so that when you provide an answer, it's not just a matter of going to Wikipedia and find, for instance, first law of Kepler. You Google first law of Kepler, you have an answer. And you go multiple choice, you got it. So I don't have this type of questions. I have critical thinking. You have to, think about it and you know the subject for it. So in answer to your question, yes, it is in a book, but you have to study it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I also had a quick question.
Yeah.
How many questions can we expect per midterm?
Per midterm, about 30, no more than 40, between 30 and 40. And it's about 1 hour, so I'm thinking, since it's multiple choice, I'm thinking you're going to spend probably 1 minute and something in each question. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so 80% midterm final exam. Now, where the remaining 20% will come from? So I have some activities. See this stellarium right here? Stellarium. So I have stellarium here. And then 2 weeks later, I have another stellarium. And then another 2 weeks, I have another stellarium. Another 2 weeks, another stellarium. So every other week, I have one stellarium activity for you to work. And towards the end, I'm kind of going around and wait to see what's going on in the sky. And I might use this stellarium as one of the activities. So let me show you what stellarium is. It's a software, it's a planetary software. In fact, it's very cool. You have to download in your computer, and unfortunately, they don't have a version of it for cell phones yet. But so you click on this link, and it gives you instructions on how to download. You can have that in a Windows system or Macintosh or Linux, all kind of systems. And here it is. So it's something like this. Let me expand. Can I expand that? I think I can. Where is it? There you go. All right. Sorry. This is not a black hole. In fact, let me turn it off and start all over. So this is a 75 megabytes to download, so it takes some time. But once you have, this is what you got. In any type of activity, for instance, when you open Stellarium, it's going to give you a specific city. I think it's Paris. And you have to set that to San Jose. And I explain you how to do that. But you have command lines on the left-hand side, and you have more command lines down here. And as you see, in San Jose, you are facing south. You should be able to see this sky. And of course, you can see this is 1919. That's the local time. on August 25th, 2016. And then you can speed up the rate in which the time flows. Look at that, it's 1926. And then of course the sky will start changing, right? It's getting dark. You can speed up a little bit more, and then you can see planets appearing. You can see, you know, the Milky Way coming up, stars, and all kind of stuff. And then you can move east. You can move west.
I'm not seeing anything right now.
Oh, you're not seeing? Oh, wait a
I'm
second. I'm sorry.
clicking
I'm
on
sorry.
something.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah. I think I know what I did. I have to share my screen. Just a second. How do I do
I thought I
that?
was the only one.
Where is my Zoom? Oh, it's right here. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. That's the one. There you go. So, so right now I'm looking west, and I can see the planets coming down. I'm speeding up the time. It's 12:22, almost 11 p.m. on August 27, midnight, and then I can look south. I can look east. So I will plan on, so Orion is rising, the moon is there, Betelgeuse and Sirius. So it's a cool software. And then the sun is rising. There you go. And it can stop. And now time is flowing 1 second every second. So you don't see a lot of sky change going on. So first thing you must do is to download the software on your computer. Now, if you do not have a computer at home that you can download the software, we have that installed in our computers at Evergreen, so you can make use of that. We have similar software in Computer Lab in Acacia Building, and in the New Science Building, we have that in the computers in there. So Stellarium, now let's go back to the Zoom right here. So so how the questions will be addressed. For instance, let's take the first assignment with the Stellarium, tracking the moon. Follow the moon for the next couple of weeks using Stellarium. You must have installed on your computer, but if not, follow instructions, blah, 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 right here, right? And then I have a series of questions. Of course, the questions are not appearing because I'm looking as a student. But if I'm not a student, here are the questions. So we have 7 questions. So on September 4, 9 p.m., the moon is located on, and then you have to be able to see what it is, okay? Of course, it's assuming you are in San Jose, California. If you are in Brazil, or if you are in Paris, or some weird place, you won't be able to see the same sky. Sky is something that depends on where you are. So Stellarium amounts 5% of your course grade and the questions are multiple choice, and they are based on the night sky of that particular week. The assignment is suggested. Any question regarding Stellarium? Okay. Now, so 5%. Another 5% will come from homework. So homeworks are weekly, they are available every week, and they are graded, and they amount 5% of your course grade. So if you click on homework, you have 10 questions. You can do as many times as you want, and the software will collect the highest score of your attempt. So you can have as many attempts as you wish, and you can play Russian roulette, but it's not a good deal because you have to practice and know what's going on in astronomy. So there are 10 questions, and once you complete them, you can try again, and the questions will be slightly different. So again, homework is 5% of your course grade. Any question regarding homework? No? So the last mandatory assessment, which amounts 10% of your course grade, are discussions. So discussions are kind of different. I mean, I have a subject, and then you have to read what I'm suggesting you to do, and then you have to do it. And then you have to type your answer. And once you type, you will be able, after you type, to see the answers of your colleagues, your classmates. And I'm not sure you'll be able to see the comments I post on the answers of each of your classmates, because I post comments. So the way it goes is each discussion, you have 1 week to get it done. I mean, they open and they have due dates. And for instance, this discussion over here, what is it? This discussion, Doppler effect, is going to be closed on October 10th, which is 1 week after it is supposed to be open. And so if you, in the very beginning of the week, you start posting your answers, you see my comments, and if I like it, if it's good, so your grade is good. If I don't like it, better use the suggestions I made to improve it, so that when you finish, towards a Saturday or Sunday, you have a decent grade on the discussion. Discussions run from 0 to 10. Of course, discussions are not. I don't allow students to copy and paste from Wikipedia, and I give a 0 right there. So you should be able to have your own, expression. I mean, I'm an ESL. I mean, English is my second language, so I'm not going to be grading your English, but your ideas, basically. So make sure you write, as yourself, and address the questions I ask, and you can post several times up to the due date, and the grades. So if you post everything on Saturday, chances are I won't have time to read it all and correct them all. But if you post on Monday, by Tuesday you have some feedback from me, because I would check all these discussions every day early in the morning, so you have more chances to improve your grade. Any question regarding all the mandatory work so far? So all of this is mandatory, right? And it gives 100%. So it's very challenging and fast-paced. So I recommend you to embrace all extra credits that I have all over the place. See all these extra credits? Do it. It adds points. It's gonna add up to 15% of your course grade. So which means it's the difference between a C and a B, B and an A, and sometimes a passing or non-passing grade. The way this extra credit work, They are multiple choices questions. You have to watch something, and then I have questions. In this case, I have few questions. Now, these questions are not. You have two chances of putting answers, right? So if you don't know the answers, you ask me. I'm not going to give you the question, but I will discuss with you. And I have chat rooms like this one every Thursday at 7 o'clock. So every Thursday, 7 o'clock, I open the zoom.us and I stay there. Sometimes I might lecture, sometimes I might not lecture, sometimes I might answer questions of students that email me questions, and then I go over that. Or if you can attend at that time, you can ask me to explain something, and you can check later. I will take the time and explain it and upload the answer to you or the discussion to you. And then you can always find me online. You can email me anytime. I'm very much, I check my email all the time. Okay. And with this, that's it. That's the course. You are seeing me now. You might. I will start populating with explanations here and there with small videos during the semester. We do have an astronomy program with public lectures and observatory activities. There will be extra credit, so your participation is not mandatory, but I recommend you to go. It's cool. We have a lecture now in September, and I will announce in our Canvas webpage. So if you can go, that would be fantastic. Okay. Now, do you have any question regarding everything in the course? Are you all good? Ready to go? All right. So I'm glad you made it. Don't fall behind. If the grades are not good, you're gonna be receiving some of my warnings. If you are stuck with the book, can't purchase now, talk to me. I don't have this copies of the same book, the book we are using, but I have old books, and I mean they will do it. So don't fall behind. That's my suggestion. Okay. And thanks for coming. That was cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
You too. Have a good night to all of you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hello. Hold on.
I'm going.
How the hell are you?